So if you've been around e-commerce for a while, or if you've had a store yourself, you've probably been in contact or you've been targeted by an email marketing agency which reached out to you and offered you like some really good guarantees, like 15% extra revenue or you don't pay us, like 20% extra revenue that we generate for you through email or you don't pay us. You know, these kind of great guarantees. And if you're wondering why it's possible for them to offer these guarantees, the reason is very simple. It's that because if you're not doing email, it is really easy to boost your revenue by 20% for free just by running some email flows. And that is the topic of today's video. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the most important email flows that you need to have up and running. And just that alone is going to get you 20% extra revenue every single month for free. Basically just running email. And there are four email flows that are very important, and I'm going to go through the strategy on each of those four email flows, explain my point and explain how you should set up those emails. And the best part is you don't actually need to hire an email agency to do it for you, even if you don't have like great graphics design skills or anything like that, because with AI, you can actually get your branded emails generated just by using an AI app. And that is something that I'm really excited to share with you guys, because Tiny Einstein has been very kind to want to sponsor this video. And I will be using their app to show you how you put in practice the email flows that I'm recommending without hiring a graphics designer, and still you get like branded emails for an extremely cheap price. So I'm going to start by explaining to you guys how you set up your email flows, or rather the email flows that you need to have in place, basic ones. I'm not going to go more in depth than I need to. The objective of this video is to make it a crash course so that if you're not doing email, you go and do it right now and you just get 20% extra revenue on your store. That's it. So I'm going to start by going over the four email flows that I recommend that you implement. I'm going to scribble on my iPad here a bit so you can see how they work. And then I'll show you how to use Tiny Einstein to set them up with a perfectly branded approach without paying for graphics design. So there are four email flows that you need to have in place. First one is your abandoned cart email. And for the abandoned cart flow, I mean, there's the Shopify one that's automatic. Everyone should have that one up, mandatory. But, you can do a lot better than the standard email flow from Shopify. And that's what I'm going to talk about in just a minute. Then the second one is your order confirmation flow. And I'm saying order confirmation flow, not order confirmation email, by the way. And that is important because we're using the order confirmation to start a flow that is ultimately meant to get our customers to come back and buy from us later. So that is very important as well. Then number 3 is our welcome flow. And our welcome flow is usually something that gets triggered by a newsletter sign up if you have one. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then number 4, we have our customer win back flow, which is basically the flow that you use to get old customers to come back after they haven't purchased in a while. So these are the 4 flows that I'm going to go over, and these are the 4 flows that you absolutely need to have in place. By doing this, you get 20% extra revenue on your business, just on your e-com store for free. So let us get started with number 1 here. And number 1 is our abandoned cart flow. Now for this one, I'm not going to write out an abandoned cart email because it's very simple. Basic abandoned cart emails, you say, hey, looks like you left without finishing your purchase. Here's a discount code. And that's something that I'm about to just go over with you. So the trigger for this is someone leaves without buying, right? Someone goes to your store, starts the checkout process or adds something to cart, and then they leave without buying. Usually this is more just for initiated checkouts because that's how you get their email. Someone just adds to cart and leaves, you probably don't have their email address, so you can't send them an abandoned cart flow. But for those who initiate the checkout and they leave your email, this is what you should do. Someone leaves without buying. What I like to do is usually 1 hour later, you send them a reminder, right? So 1 hour later, it's a simple reminder email. Hey, you enter the person's name. It looks like you've left without buying so-and-so items. Please note that these items are on limited stock. Click the link below to finish your purchase before we run out. Something like that. And then you have a link to the checkout. Very simple. And then the other one would be like one day afterwards, where you do discount number 1, right? Discount number 1. So 24 hours if they did not buy, and you got to add a filter here, of course, saying if they did not buy. If they did not buy, you come back and you email them again saying, hey, looks like you've left the items in your cart. We're running a temporary sale on these items. Here's the 20% off discount code that is only valid for the next 24 hours if you finish your purchase right now. Click the link below and you give them a discount code. And then if this doesn't work, and this is optional, by the way, this step 3 here is optional with it, which is what we're going to call discount number 2. This is optional. You don't have to, but I've seen this implemented with some success. So what you do in this case is you send them another discount bigger than the first one. So let's say first one is 10% off. Now you do a 20% off. Like our sale is about to conclude. Within 5 hours, if you use this code, you can get 20% off your purchase if you finish your purchase in the next 5 hours, something like that. And you send them a discount code. So this is optional. Some people just do reminder and discount 1. You can do reminder and 2 discounts if you want. This is the first one, very basic. And just by doing this with a branded email, and I'll show you in a bit how you can use AI to do a branded email without hiring a graphics designer, but this is just gonna be so much more impactful than the standard boring Shopify automatically generated abandoned cart flow. So that is number 1. Let me move on now to number 2, the order confirmation flow, which is arguably the most important one, at least in my opinion. Okay, so number 2 is our order confirmation email. Right, so our order confirmation email, as you probably understood by now, it's just the flow that starts when someone makes a purchase from your store. So the trigger is going to be purchase. Someone purchases from your store, they trigger the flow. The obvious first email is going to be, we're going to give it a number 1 here. It's just going to be the confirmation. Thank you for your order. But here's the best part. You don't just confirm the order. You say, because we really value your purchase, we're really happy that you've chosen to buy from us. We really appreciate that. We're going to be sending some value to your inbox during the next 2 to 3 weeks. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled to not miss anything that we're about to send you for free, something like that. And this is going to depend on your niche, right? So let's just make an example here. Let's say you sell a product that is supposed to relieve back pain, for example. Your product is supposed to relieve back pain. You say, we're going to send you in the next 2 to 3 weeks our complete ebook for back pain relief, for exercises that you can do at home. We're going to send you doctor's tips that we've gathered along the years working on this niche, whatever might be valuable for your customer. And you tell them that you're going to send it to their email in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that's what we're going to include in this flow. Because what is the objective of this flow? The objective of this flow is number 1, to warm up their inbox to your emails. So if you don't do this, your emails might go into spam because their Gmail or whatever mail provider they use is not sure if you're spamming them or if you're actually valuable. So you're going to send them very valuable emails to make sure that they open them and read them. So your domain is going to be considered a high value domain, and your emails are going to be on top of their inbox all the time as important emails. So that is the objective of this flow. We're not selling yet. We're using it to make sure that our email domain is in a good standing and that they're going to see everything that you send their way so that we can sell on them later. It's always the same principle. Provide value first and then sell afterwards. So confirmation is going to be the first one. Number 2, we're going to send them value number 1. So we're going to send value number 1. Could be an ebook, could be just a few tips, write down an email that you think is going to be valuable for your customers. And, that's pretty much it. Then number 2, number 3, and this is, sorry, I forgot the time here. Our order confirmation is obviously sent when they place the order, so right after. Then this one, I would wait 1-2 days for this, and then another 1-2 days for the next one. And very important, make sure that in each email that you send, you keep them expecting the next email. So you say, make sure you pay attention to your inbox, because again, in 1 or 2 days, we're going to send you another one of these emails that we think you'll be very interested in reading. So make sure to keep the expectation going. Then you do value number 2, and then you can get creative with this. You can do like a case study, depending on the product, but you can send them a case study, like just take a review of one of your happy customers and do an email around that review. How X, Y, and Z person solved their back issues with this product, and here's the review that they left. And then you just pick one of your best reviews more in depth, and you can make a case study out of that to just add more value. And then around email 5, you can try and upsell for the first time. So around email 5, you can say, okay, here are some things that we think you might be interested in. Now, keep in mind, you've already sent 3 emails that were highly valuable to your customers. So when they receive this email number 5 on the flow, or 4 on the value chain here, they're gonna think, oh, this is probably really cool because the other last emails were also really valuable. So they're much more inclined to buy the products that you recommend now, especially if you can associate them with some of the value that you sent them before. So let's say there's some at-home exercises, sticking with the example, some at-home exercises that you can do for your back pain. Here's an accessory that is going to help you do those exercises, and that's the upsell. But the upsell is not just a blatant upsell, it's something that's associated to a value proposition that you've sent in the previous email. So they're going to be much more likely to pay attention and to buy. And then I would just close this out with another value email, and then you can just keep the flow as long as you want between value and selling. I would do 1 selling every 3 value emails at most. But this is the idea, this is a general view of the strategy. Now, before we move on to the welcome flow and to the customer win back flow, let me show you Tiny Einstein so you know how you can use AI basically to generate branded emails without having to hire a graphics designer, which is what you used to have to do if you wanted a real good template, because you don't want to be doing this with black and white, just black and white text or white on black text, whatever it might be. You want to make it look branded so they know that you're actually putting effort into the emails and you're just not writing stuff randomly. So it just adds that element of trust. Let me show you Tiny Einstein here on the computer. All right, so Tiny Einstein sent me a review copy here, and I had a chance to review the software, which is why I'm showing it to you guys now. I think this is going to be very interesting. So they have this dashboard, this is where you look at your email revenue, how your email metrics are doing, pretty standard stuff for an email client. But the interesting thing comes here when you set up the emails. Keep in mind, the first time you set this up, they're going to ask you for a prompt, like a general overview of the brand. So our Back Relief Co. is a brand that focuses on back and spinal health, and we do this, that, whatever. Just give it a few prompts, and then the AI is going to use that to understand what your brand does. And as it scans the website, it's going to take the graphics that are already on the website plus the prompt that you give it and make your emails. And that's the genius part of this. So let me show you an example here for the welcome series. So if you go on automations on Tiny Einstein, you're going to have the flows that you're going to use. So the welcome series is the one that I'm going to show you right after, but the abandoned cart is the one that we were just talking about, and the thank you for your purchase is as well the one that we were just discussing before we went on to see Tiny Einstein. So, and you have other ideas here that are very good as well, like browse abandonment, product reviews. This is also one that would go in my top 5 most important ones because it is very powerful at getting your reviews. If you send people after they buy, and obviously if you have a good product, most of your customers are going to be happy after they buy, you send them an email like 30 days after they buy, 15 days, something like that, depending on your shipping time, and you ask them for a review. Keep in mind your shipping time. You don't want to have crappy shipping and then send product review prompts to people who have been waiting 1 month for their product. They're going to be mad and they're going to be leaving you bad reviews. So keep that in mind. Be mindful of your shipping time, and when you know that the product is 100% already been delivered, you ask them for a review and they're super excited because they just got the product and they're probably going to give you a really nice review. So let's have a look at the abandoned cart email and let's see what Tiny Einstein was able to generate from this store. This store is modeled after ColourPop, and look at this. It just pulls your product, it pulls your social media, your company details, your logo, and it makes the template without you having to touch anything for your abandoned cart flow. And this is just an example. Like, let me show you, for example, automations. Let me show you the welcome series, for example, preview. This is all pictures that Tiny Einstein takes from your website by learning how your website works and the prompt that you give it, and then it generates the email templates. And as you can see, it looks amazing. It looks like an actual branded template, and it is very easy. It even generates the copy as well, so you don't have to write. If you have issues with English, your English is not the best, don't have to worry about that anymore. Win-back flow, which is one that we're going to discuss in a minute. You can see the win-back flow right there. Takes the logo and it looks really good. Product review, very important one if you want to use it. So basically, it just gives you copy and graphics for your email flows automatically without you having to do anything. And not just that, you can also use it for campaigns. So, and this is something that I'm not covering in this specific video because I'm going after the essential flows that you need to set up and making it as straightforward as possible. But you should always be running campaigns like promotional events, at the very least once a month. Probably more, but at least just once a month. I'm just going to give you a preview here so you can see what a special sale email template looks like. It is actually a branded thing and you didn't do anything. You just used AI to generate this thing. So it looks really, really good. So this is what Tiny Einstein can do. I was really impressed with this. I think AI is starting to be used in a very interesting way for e-commerce. And yeah, if you want to check out Tiny Einstein, I'll leave a link in the description below. Let's move on now to the next flows. All right, now flow number 3, the welcome flow. Let's talk about the welcome flow. Now, the welcome flow is what people get when they subscribe to your newsletter or they respond to some sort of prompt on your website to enter their email. Like enter your email for a discount code, enter your email for a newsletter. Basically, you want to be giving your customers something valuable in exchange for their email, so you can then target them through email marketing. What I would recommend is a 10% off on first order. Just from experience, I think this one works really well. Discount code in exchange for their email address is a no-brainer. People are going to want that, and it usually gets you the most emails, and that's what you want with this. You want to essentially test and use whatever is going to get you more accepted, whatever is going to get more people to send you their email. So the first one is naturally going to be the discount code, right? Because if you're promising the discount code, you got to give them the discount code. That's going to be email number 1. Then email number 2, and you can do something here. What I like to do here is set up a filter here, and then this filter makes the flow evolve into 2 different ways. One of them is if they did not buy, and the other one is if they bought a product. So we're going to call it not buy sequence and buy sequence. And basically what you want to do, you want to set your emails up in a way that first they get the discount code, and then they either take the discount code and buy, or they take the discount code and not buy. And if they bought, you can just quit the flow, because if they bought, they're going to be in the order confirmation flow that we just talked about a minute ago. So if they bought, you can just make them leave the welcome flow because you don't need it. They're going to be getting the other email, and you definitely do not want to have people in multiple flows at the same time, because that's going to probably get you flagged as a spammer. So don't do that. If they didn't buy, then what you want to do is you want to send some value, and then usually I would wait 2 to 3 days for this, because there's also the abandoned cart flow, and you want to let that one work as well. You can also set up a filter, to only fire this if they're not in the abandoned cart flow. But then basically you just want to do value, and I would do selling on an email right after, because they did enter the email for the discount code, so you can do a little bit of selling. And even if this doesn't work, even if it doesn't get them to buy through this flow, remember that you should be doing your campaigns at least once a month. So because they left their email, even if they didn't buy, they're still going to be targeted by your periodic campaigns. So that makes it a lot more valuable. And let's move on quickly to our flow number 4, which is the customer win back flow. So number 4, win back flow. Now the win back flow is going to be not made a purchase in, let's say, 1 or 2 months. Some people like to make it longer, some people like to make it shorter. It's up to you. You can have a look at your average customer lifetime value and how long it takes for your average customer to buy from you. But basically you want to target people who haven't purchased in a while, previous purchasers who haven't purchased in a while. And you can just send them, and this is what I like to do, right? I like to send them a collection of best sellers. So what you would do is send them an email with your collection of your best selling products, because if they're past purchaser, they're probably going to be interested in these. And then number 2, you would offer them a discount. Like you're an old customer, you've bought from us before, so here's a gift because we appreciate your trust. Here's a gift, and give them a nice generous discount. If you want to buy from us again, here's a gift that you can use in the next 24 hours or something. And then number 3, I would send them a value email. And number 4, I would try the discount again in a different way. Like we've seen that you haven't used the discount yet, so here is another discount so that you can have an opportunity to use it in the next 24 hours, for example. And that's pretty much it for the 4 essential flows. There are more, and there's definitely the campaigns that we could talk about, but with this video, I don't want to make it too long. I just wanted to make it very clear that it's this simple to boost your revenue by 10 to 20% just by having these flows in place. And now you don't even have to spend money on graphics design, because you can use a tool like Tiny Einstein to generate copy and graphics for your emails. So it's that simple. If you're not using these flows yet, it's time to get started, because it's going to boost your revenue, and it's very, very easy. And that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.